Hey guys, what's going on? It's JP with Just Lucky, and today I wanted to go through some of the recent sets, like EB03, OP14, and their SPs, and kind of like what the hype drives in terms of the price for the cards. And I'm sure you guys already know that like typically when the new set does come out, that the prices are probably going to spike. People are going to scramble to get their playables, but also collectors are trying to get their favorite cards put in their binder or graded, right? Like that's gonna happen. But yeah, let's look through some of these cards, for example, to kind of illustrate my point. First one here, we have the Nami SP, for example, being like EB03 being one of the most hype sets, like aside from, like OP13 at the time, but there's three SPs here that's gonna be over $1,000. Nami being number one. You guys already know she's Nami. Her lowest listed right now is close to 1,200. Um, there's only like 17 listings, but just from price movement wise, this came out on the 20th of February, and we're seeing this SP hover around 1,500, like during that release week, but it's leveling out at the 1,200 range. And there's like 7 sales within the 7 days, previous 7 days, and 72 of all time. So like there's a lot of interest here, and I can kind of tell why that this is going to be a playable here. Like even the SR is going for $34. And then we have Nico Robin, a character we don't see as often, but like when we're talking about the cards here, like she only shows up in a few SPs compared to like maybe Boa. So she's also hovering around the $1,000 price range, with the price kind of spiking to as high as 1,500. Pretty normal with the other SPs as well. EB03 being super collectible as well, so like these SPs are probably going to be where they are now for a while. Similar price, like volume as Nami, but let's take a look at Boa. We've seen her quite a few times already. OP14, we saw her SP, and like with OP15, we're also going to see her again. So like we're at 940, lowest listed, with lows going to even 880. I believe she's pretty steady. Like it's Boa Hancock. Everyone like just goes crazy for her cards, and like in hindsight, although it's not as playable compared to like Nami, it's still like super nice. I think like the color scheme, it just fits her really well. But this being one of the EB03 SPs, I think this is going to be also pretty steady. Similar like price volume with Nami, but the past 7 days we only saw one sale. Into OP14, again, Bubble Zoro, like don't hate me, that's just what people call it, with highs of 1,500. During that time, it was pretty crazy. And I think this is a outlier sale that was mislabeled, but it was a graded PSA 10 likely. But we're seeing this card coming down to the $900 range. I think it's pretty reasonable. This FC looks super nice, and it's like very decorated. We have Zoro, this like 6 pack, and then you have Sanji just like right there. Again, looks amazing, and like people are coining it Bubble Zoro, so I'm not sure what people are going with there, but people won't stop raving about this card, so I can totally get the appeal here. And I think it will do great in the future. Then we have another Bow SP from OP14. Again, like you'll see a theme here that it's gonna be a lot of Bow SPs, and I kind of hammered down that point of because this is at 615 right now at lowest listed, even with the lowest sales at 520, like that, that's a big down from the 1,200 highs of like release week or release month at the time. I'm pretty sure the capital is just being transferred over to her new SP. But again, like it's Boa, she's doing her thing. Like the red is just so iconic with her, and it's her, like it's her, and she's there, she's posing. great card, also quite a bit of sales volume, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty stable where it's at. Just a little disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but I do think this card will perform well in the future. We also have Mihawk SP, also a big fan of this SP. I love the OP14 SPs just because they feature this like really nice color scheme. They have the characters displayed like perfectly in terms of their pose and who they are. He is the greatest swordsman alive. You know, maybe we'll see them fight again with Zoro, but people will probably want the waifus more than they want Mihawk, which I totally get. And I can explain that with the price dips, which I believe he was steady in the 300 range during release, but eventually he comes down and, you know, again, people want the waifus, but love this card. I think there's also some really good sales volume here. Great card to hold on to if it's for personal or for investing. But let's talk about like opportunities with new cards or previous cards. And that's going to be event mangas, and I think again, I think there are quite a few that look really good, but I'm going to look at two of my favorite at the moment. Gear 2 is super iconic, and people might already know. There's also the EB02 manga that is going for ridiculous amounts of money. It's come down to the $200 range, and I think there were highs of 300 to 350, which is at the time like it completely makes sense. And I think Gear 2 being Gear 2 and the all white card is just like spectacular. I do think that this is one of those cards that will do great long term. Look at like the sales volume, but again, this is the older set, OP11, solid card, but I do see this being good for long term. One more card for event mangas. This is going to be the Ground Death. This is currently also playable for the Emu deck, which I get. It makes sense. It looks great. It's Crocodile coming down. The color scheme is right. You got the sand everywhere, the hints of purple. Just the fact that it did come down from $200, maybe 50%, over 50% to 95 right now. Again, still extremely playable, and it's Crocodile. It's like one of the villains that were super iconic throughout One Piece, right? Like this is a solid card. I think this is going to my binder, and I also think that this will be fine. Like also good long term. And let's talk about like OP15. OP15 looks really good. Looks like a really great set. You got the Lucy leader that's already dominating the leaderboards. We have the what we're talking about manga events. We have the Enel manga, so he's Enel manga and Enel manga event. He's looking really good. Like I was talking about, like Crocodile and Luffy Gear 2. So like this is right hand in hand with exactly what that features. So again, I'm sure it's also playable. I do believe that these were to stay. Like there's going to be more event mangas coming out with this exact style, and I think people will look at like the past cards that have that same style, and people will kind of want to collect something similar. So really great to see that in the new set. I'm excited to see this in late March or I think early April. And then you have Boa SP, Luffy SP, Law. Like these are very well loved characters. Again, maybe they're overdoing Boa, but like maybe even overdoing Luffy, and this is crazy to say, but it's very exciting to see these, and I think this is going to be a super playable set. Excited to see how this changes the dynamic of play. But overall, super excited to see this set. But yeah, that's how I feel about the recent SPs and what the market looks like. But that being said, thanks for tuning in to today's episode, talking about these SPs, and kind of stay tuned. Maybe we can go through more of the site that we've created here at Just Lucky. So maybe some trend detection. We can even look at liquidity of the market and what cards are doing well at the moment. But and you know opportunities. But really good to kind of see this going the way that like it's being more stable now compared to like a month ago where people were kind of quote unquote panicking. But yeah, more to come. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll chat soon.